Today I'm going to talk about potential and opportunity. Two things. And it's really the core of what separates most of us. Okay? Because potentially everybody has the same capabilities. Some excel more than others at certain things, and so on and so forth. But as a basic core, we all seem to have a common sense. Majority wise, there is a percentage that falls short of that, but majority wise, we all have a common basis of what's good and right, what we like, what we don't like. And if we come to a place of agreement, then if you look within it, you can actually say, I didn't like something done to me, or I don't like something being done to me, so therefore I'm not going to project that onto somebody else. It's called do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. So with that knowledge in hand, and you have the basic cognitive skills to understand do unto others as you would have done unto yourself, and given the percentages that the majority have this ability, we'll go on further with this discussion. But if you fall short of those parameters, then you might as well go ahead and click next. So, given the fact that you have the cognitive ability to know right from wrong, and we'll go with your skill set now. You have certain skills. You have either good at math, English, comprehension, puzzles. Most people at a basic level have very minute skills. They're not taught to be driven. So we go forth and we just kind of follow the masses, go with the flow. There are probably varying low percentages that excel and they're shining lights and they're absorbed. Most of the time, it's not through public. We're just now getting to a point with society where it's like on a mass level things can be discovered through people's personalities and their skills. But previously it was just kind of word of mouth. This person deserves this, or I know somebody that would be able to handle that. Okay? But given just the average person with just the desire to want to awaken, love life, and loving life can be a multitude of different things. For me, it's loving my kids, having meals when you want to eat, having comforts. I know that some things are not necessary, but air condition, a vehicle, these kind of things. These are things that people enjoy. I mean, it's not a necessity. Sometimes it kind of is, because you do need to have a way to, get to stores, get to work, etc. So a vehicle is almost a borderline. Unless you live within a region where it's close that you could walk, ride a bike, or whatever you know, but it would have to have certain parameters. So that's kind of a whole other thing. We're just going off basic assumptions that you have to drive to work, okay, or you have to drive to the store. I don't know many people that carry huge. I do know a few that carry huge sacks from the grocery store all the way to the house because they don't have a vehicle. Much less if you have small children, it compiles it. So we're talking about all these things that many people go without. Okay? Is it because their skill set is not being able to be represented through employment? Or is it just effort? Is it opportunity? Or is it skill? I know that there's not a huge, vast, I don't know what the percentages are on wealth. Maybe I'll look that up and put a chart in here. But I know that there's enough money in this world and enough people and enough dead space to house everybody on this planet in comfort and take care of everybody's needs. I don't know how it has gotten so corrugated like that, but it's the way it is. And there is a pulling away and tearing of a society right now where it's slowly and almost invisibly becoming more so. And it will happen. That'll happen like with capitalism. Okay? where you start placing value on every single thing. If somebody has a blemish on their behavior or something like that, it all goes into a nice little file tucked away. It's called a record. They have a record. If you're on this record, it's a blemish. And they look at you through a different type of eye. Okay? Some people have way more blemishes. Some people don't. There are people that, make mistakes and they say, wow, I kind of messed that up, so I'm not going to do that again. But then there's people that continually, because of their education or lack thereof, continue a cycle or a habit. Now, I've known people who have had a criminal upbringing. They were raised at the side of criminals, and that's all that they know, and that's just it. They've been sheltered away from things that are positive or right, and that's just blindly what they know. Those are some exceptions. We don't want to touch on that gray area right this minute, but if you would like to leave a comment, I'll touch on it. I mean, there's a lot of varying circumstances to what I'm talking about, and there's a lot of discussion to be had about this topic. But you've got to find where you stand and where you're at. Most people are blind sheep. You're fitting into a puzzle that you think you're fitting into a puzzle of getting up, going to work, paying your taxes, doing your duty, keeping your yard cut, and therefore life is good. But life is not good because life is not always perfect. Okay? And this has been programmed and adhered to us at early ages, in early stages. Obedience, obey, 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 obey. And I think that obedience is good, but you have to know why you're obeying and who you're obeying. Okay? I don't think that one person who lives 80 years should spend 60 years of their life giving it to somebody else just to scrape by, to get a meal, shelter. And I understand there's varying degrees of certain things. I know people that have worked really hard and barely make it to live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, just a hole in the wall, And then there's people that scrape by just to make it on a 5-bedroom house, okay? I think that we can honestly say that it doesn't take much other than a little bit of room, a little bit of cleanliness, a little bit of safety when we're talking about shelter for it to be acceptable. Okay? I don't know, in housing, and there's housing authorities that have guidelines and stipulations to project these certain minimal requirements for it to, to qualify. Okay? Why in the world would anybody have to live in something beyond those requirements? Housing should not be an option. It should be a requirement. Okay? Under the current regime of us paying taxes, we should have that supplied. Okay? So whatever money is being deterred to this NASA, I really don't want to go into that really right now, but they should cut that shit. Okay? We should take care of what we have here, and instead of focusing on something that is up there, or, okay, I don't believe that the NASA moon landings are real. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. I'm not trying to preach that right now, but I'm trying to make a point. If they were real, how come there's not more exploration? You just go to an island. If you found an island rich in, I don't know, whatever, or something that was of value, would you stop at that island and just wait a few years if you have the ability to do it? No, you would continue forth, or you would set a post at that station and then go forth. That's not what's been done. They have all this money going into what? What has NASA produced for us? What have they done? I'm going to ask you that question. What has NASA done for you lately? Totally different sidetrack right there, and I apologize. But that is one example of how all of this money is being flowed into certain areas. Why is that money going there? What have they done? Ask yourself that question. There's a lot of organizations, there's a lot of corporations, and there's a lot of people that are controlling the flow of the funds. If you don't believe that, you're ignorant, you're unintelligent, and go ahead and exit out of the video. I'm relying on people with a basis of a core intelligence that can understand reasonably, look at the facts, and see there is something wrong with this world. Do you know why the movie The Matrix was probably so popular? It's because it was a metaphor for real life, not just a movie. There is something going on. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't fit. It doesn't flow. So why is that? You have to ask yourself. I'm fundamentally giving you what I believe to be certain answers. That's all I expect you to get from this video. If you get something more, that's great. But this is going to be like a new series where I just going to break down certain things. And a lot of things I've done in the past have just been kind of ranty. I'm sorry if I sound ranty. I am ranty. So, but this is how I explore my own psyche and hopefully come up with some solutions. So, you have all of these financial institutions that have big money. Even talk about Red Cross, okay? All of this stuff in place to where these funds are kept at bay, right? Where have all these funds been? Where have all they been? Where have they been? I know they fleece the taxes. I know they fleece to where they get some money through your hard-earned money, only to substitute it and say, well, here's your Social Security. Oh, well, wait a minute. Due to inflation and cost rising and stuff like that, interest rates rising, it's not as much, it's not worth as much as it was when we had it. But that's just our little way of saying thank you. We're taking our little cut off the top again from what we're giving you back. Now, you think about that, okay? It's a system. It is a system designed for you not to come ahead. So if systems are designed like that, to where you're at a disadvantage, so to speak, financially, and it's just like it's meshed up with so many gears. People don't really look at it closely enough to catch it. It's real subtle, just little pieces of grain. You take a piece of grain from 1,000 yards, you got 1,000 grains. Take $1,000 $1 bills from each person, you got $1,000. It adds up, folks. Okay. Now, if I take $1,000 from the yards and hands of a neighborhood, and I say, oh, well, I borrowed this money, and here I'm going to go ahead and give you 7,500 or 750 back. I came way ahead because I got my money for free, right? And I'm giving you less back, so I can still make money. That's how Social Security works. Think about it. Think about it. That's the way the system is designed in every aspect. You have to fight, climb, beg, steal, borrow to get your advancement. Okay? That's what I've discovered. There's your opportunities and your skill set. That's what they're up against. A machine that is designed to keep you at bay. You take a look at all of these successful sports figures, very few of them go on to have true wealth. You take a look at well-paid musicians right now, a lot of them don't go on to have wealth. Why is it? Because when it says that, certain pitfalls, I can guide you to a pitfall. Now, there are some that have gone to succeed and exceed, beyond. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, this is my opinion, that a lot of the people that are in those positions are probably there due to opportunity. What creates opportunity? Money creates opportunities. Who creates opportunities. And, you yourself do create opportunities. It's just, what can you do within yourself to open up a door that belongs to someone else. That's a way to think about it. Now, if I know somebody who has a key to that door and says, well, hey, come on in, I know this person over here that can help you out, and da-da-da-da, that's one way. Money, I'll go buy a key for that door. Hey, who do I talk to around here? It, if you can't see these things right before you, then you really, really aren't looking. So, how does this skill set open up a door? It won't. Unless you know somebody, you have the money, or you just use the skill directly on the door. For somebody that doesn't have any formal education, skilled training, they're not going to be able to open up that door. Most people graduate high school, if they graduate high school, and they have no direction, no guidance. They have a childhood concept of what they want to be, or they formed an opinion of what they see, but it's usually led by outside suggestion. Then it reflects on what the person would like to do, and then they go forth. Like I was mentioning earlier about the crime, the kid that has been sheltered in a criminal life, or a kid that's been sheltered that knows nothing other than football, or a kid that's been sheltered that knows nothing else but the golf life, and they've been raised in that, most people will not step outside of their comfort zone, and they will continue within that, whether they want to or not, whether they're conflicted or not, whether they want to step outside or not. They're comfortable there. And as long as they're making what they can, and they have the basic necessities that they desire, then that's the way that it will continue. Okay? That's how it works. I've ranted and raved a little bit too long on this one. Hopefully this has been some kind of insight, educational. I just put that out there real quick to give an example of two cognitive things that are very important within our society, but they're not that important in the long run. I don't care what your skill is, and I don't care what opportunities you have, and neither does some other people. It's about your heart, your desires, your intention. So many people are in power that are evil people. They do what they wish, abusive to power, okay, on different levels. They play these games, they have distractions, because they have a design in which they can manipulate and govern. These things are in place, people. You have got to look at it. And if you look at it and you think about it, you will be left scratching your head. So the thing that doesn't feel right, that doesn't make sense, and it doesn't pan out, is that if there's a margin where you can question it, you've got to expand on it further. I know you're going to sit there and think, well, it doesn't really matter. I mean, all my stuff is taken care of. I'm a good citizen, and I everything's good. Everything's good for me. It's not. Okay? You've got to think about why this is taking place. Why? Why? And investigate. Start thinking for yourself. Question authority. Do the research. I'm not saying to rebel against authority. I'm not promoting violence. I'm asking you to question authority. Become an active member within the mentally active society of people that are waking up. I have had almost everything stripped from me. Almost every single thing has been stripped from me as an individual. And I believe that it's mainly because of what I speak about, what I believe, and other people's agendas. I truly believe that. If you listen to my voice, I know it might sound irrational or kind of tin foil hat kind of thing, but it's not. I'm a rational, sane person. I'm a loving person. I don't hurt people. I don't promote violence. I don't promote anything outside of the realm of love. Okay? So, why would everything be stripped and taken away from me and doors closing that were not normally closed? I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. So I started thinking about it and analyzing it. And once I started digging, I started falling in these little holes. And I would sink further. And I would say, wow, I didn't see this and this and this. Interesting. The reason why I didn't see it is because I was so preoccupied with my daily routine. And now that all that has been stripped from me, I've had time to think about things. And I'm trying to guide and direct you towards certain things to where you can look at them. Agree or not? You tell me.